First of all, I am very grateful for being here because I come from far, far, far away, and it's very difficult is being here. So sorry because my native language is Spanish, and I speak some kind of accents. You can look at two books I show you. One is the book about the research, and the other one is about the edition I make. Okay, thank you. Today there is a gradual recognition of women artists and photographers whose practice is being developed in Latin America. In historiographic terms, the increase in editorial compilation projects featuring works by women photographers has been relevant. These proposals have had the intention of remapping the history of photo books and drawing histories of visuality not yet known. On the other hand, access to photo book and drawing histories of visuality not yet known. On the other hand, access to heritage of photographic bibliodiversity has been related to private and well-endowed bibliographic collections for decades. In this scenario, it's important to reflect on the consolidation of public access collection projects that are not restricted by capitalist mechanisms that survive in institutional acquisition. Libraries are a fundamental space, but in Latin America, they are prey to uncertainty in the face of complicated scenarios. Few are the independent publishing projects that reach the shelves thanks to the donations made by the artist communities, creators, curators, researchers, etc. Faced with this panorama, making a real change from the curatorial library practice requires acting in anti-colonial, anti-encyclopedic, and anti-academic resistance, some kind of academic for me. This proposal is to present some ongoing advanced research on the evidence of the access and availability of photo books by women creators that had been distinguished in the publication the Fotolibro Latinoamericano or Latin American Photo Book. This research is motivated by elucidating from institutional creed and using of bibliometric methods. The published shelf life and circulation of the books listed in a aforementioned compilation. This research compares the stock of copies, the classification history, and the cataloging or the artisticity in libraries of the library network of the National Autonomous University of Mexico, that is the huge public university, which was more than 100 libraries in the country, is a public university. From an interdisciplinary perspective, what should be done in the face of a panorama of structural domination that limits the reach of editorial circulation circuits? That's why, because it's very important for me told in a way, in poetic way, about what happened, maybe with this poet, Dolores Dorantes. The starting point is to ask how and who shapes the value of photography books. In a Latin American context, when we want to confront the idea of canon, it is necessary to remember its origin and its stability linked to the process inherent to writing and bibliographic culture. In this case, recommendation in anthology format, like this kind of publication for Voxel. I don't know if you know it, but it's kind of famous. 100 books you must read before your death. And this is the example, I think, is about anthologic publications. How and who shaped the value of photographic books? This is a way for confronting the canon idea that is important for me. And from a library science perspective, using tools such as bibliometrics makes it possible to understand some of the publishing behavior. That is, when analyzing a publication and its networks of relationships between places of publication, dates, context of collaborators involved, and distributed mechanisms, it is possible to develop genealogies that point, in this case, to the fortune and marginalization of women creators in the publishing world. As I described in previous slides, we know about the grandmother silence and their resignation. We know what that means, a system of structural domination in Latin America, of course. Returning to the starting point, the ongoing research focused on the publication Fotolibro Latinoamericano. This publication, under one of the most representative publishing imprints of Spanish language art publications, RM or ERM, describes and comments 150 photobooks titles in a diverse way, sometimes with very extensive descriptions, indicating context that can only be known through interviews with collectors and those involved in the publication. On the cover of the publication you saw, there is a list of people described as some photographers, designers, and authors included in Fotolibro Latinoamericano. In the image shown now, I create a general mapping that analyzes the list. Highlighting in blue are the names of the total of 19 women described as photographers in publication biography index. Only 19. 6 photographers are linked to Argentina, 5 are from Brazil, 1 photographer and 1 designer are from Chile. In the case of Mexico, 6 creators are also mentioned, 5 of them described as photographers and 1 as an editor, Marta Elion, who I will discuss later. And in this section, which functions as a paratext, the cover of the book, that is an editorial space of promotion, a guide to what can be found. The names of writer and artist also appear. The relationship between writing and photography reflects part of the stabilization mechanisms of bibliographic authorial value. In short, on these maps, the selection of Latin American creators is limited to Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Venezuela. Therefore, the idea of Latin American is always biased by the diverse circumstances of access and visibility. It would be worth asking if there were other editorial space for female photographers. For example, Panama, Costa Rica, Peru, obviously. The choice of to reproduce more than those pages stand out in this image. For example, Maria Jampolsky, The House of Land, is one of the photobooths, the few photobooths by women photographers to be featured in this way. In this case, you can saw, I found 4 copies in libraries of UNAM. In one copy, I found a little observation, a librarian observation. That copy in the collection was donated by author, but I don't know what author is, Jan Polsky or Elena Poniatowska. They collaborate for many times, many times, and it's a ethnographic publication. It's not like an artistic photo book, it's ethnographic, but with time, they convert in some kind of artistic value. For other hand, we can see this photo book, Claudia Andújar, Amazonia, known copies with, in UNAM libraries. I think in Mexico, maybe in private collections only, but I think 3 years ago, we was a exhibition of Claudia Andújar about Yanomami's population, and the book was in a vitrine for only see. Working, collaborating with fellow curators and artists, as well as observing the market and speaking with gallery owners, I have reflected on the notion of value that permeates these spheres and how the idea of value is understood in different terms in the library and the heritage context. Therefore, I believe it's important to always keep this notion in mind to understand the mechanisms of value, their function, and how they reconcile their difference in a public collection, because it's very different. For example, the symbolic value with exhibition value in library context, like the book is only a resource of information, and is very different in a showcase effect, like this for other photo book by Salgado, with Hugh, the book. In a network of 140 university libraries, which serves a large number of users in the humanities, you can show the numbers. I can describe these numbers. I identified and found only 27 of the 150 select photo booths in 16 libraries of this network. Of course, there are other public and specialist collections of photo books, but it's only one library in Mexico City, other in Oaxaca state, other states of Mexico, for example. And you can saw in these graphics and tables the data compiled with a bibliographic database between December and September of this year. It was a difficult work. But it's interesting analyze this data and maybe complicate more in the future. And you can show maybe some names, some recognized names, like Maya Godet, Gracia Leiturbide, of course, Mariana Jampolsky, Paz Errázuriz, These photographs are recognized, no, in the scene, but the other ones maybe have some word recognizing only, but her products are more large. And you can saw in this compilation, especially the focus or there are documentary photography only, and you can show the dates. Is more large in 17th, and you can show after that decade only work in 19. Sorry, but I can describe the dates, but you can see. And for example, Claudia Andújar with Amazonia and Yanomami, Sara Facio, Alicia D'Amico, they have Humanario, other documentary photography. And it's important thing about the origin of publication. Some of them are governmental publication, other commercial, but in the 70 decades, the government publication was the space for produce this kind of work.
Can I ask a question? Were they producing monographs?
Karen,
Big book, sorry.
Karen, can we do the questions after? Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You can saw, for example, in this photo book of Mariana Jampolsky and with text of poet and writer Elena Poniatowska. By the way, her origin is European. There are other collaboration of them in libraries, like the other one, Estancias del Olvido, is about housing in country. There are other editions. The big one is very expensive right now in bookstores. And the other one, the little, is the original. And then the series was reproduced in other editorial projects. And you can saw here other more contemporary production with Rosangela Reno. By the way, is the only project with archive photography. Other important project of Mexico is Lourdes Grobet, Espectacular de Lucha Libre, or Wrestling Spectacular. And Daniela Rosell, Rich and Famous, is a book of daughters of Mexican politicians. You can saw nervous system, but it's Barbara Brandley production in Venezuela. There is the kind of work I do with for confrontation of the items and in the library. And there is the project I told you. In a discursive way, Horacio Fernández, the Spanish curator that worked like editor here, write about women like amateurs, wives, a little about words like designers, collaborators, and few case, the recognized case like photographers. But it's important to talk about this kind of notion of writing, of discourse, because it's a strange only thing that she's wife of or she's amateur. This is other example, and I will finish with this. Is a photo book generation credit only to Felipe Ehrenberg, not by his wife, Marta Elion, what only was mentioned like editor. She is in the pictures, and she is very important for the artist books easing in Mexico City. And this is the research. I can share the slides if you want to know many other things, nerd things of libraries. Thank you.